Welcome to Proclaiming Justice, a podcast from PJTN that focuses the light of truth on vital issues in today's headlines that impact every American. I'm your host, Laurie Cardoza-Moore, founder and president of Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, and I'm here to educate, motivate, and activate you to action. I want to arm you with the truth and the facts you'll need to fight and preserve our constitutional republic and uphold the Judeo-Christian values our nation was founded upon. Violent anti-Semitism is on the rise worldwide. A recent Kantor Center report shows an alarming rise in attacks on Jews in 2018. According to the study, released in cooperation with the European Jewish Congress, the number of major violent cases globally jumped 13% last year. Those violent attacks were centered in the United States, which was home to more than 100 cases. In the United Kingdom, 68 cases were reported, followed by 35 each in France and Germany, 20 in Canada, and more in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Argentina. Today on Focus on Israel, we'll take you to a major global forum aimed at combating this lethal rise of anti-Semitism. Hello, I'm Laurie Cardoza-Moore, founder of Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, a nonprofit organization dedicated to educating and sharing the message of Christian biblical responsibility to the people and land of Israel in the face of a global rise of anti-Semitism. Proclaiming Justice to the Nations was established to stop the silence, to wake up Christians and people of conscience to the realities of a world bent on destroying Israel and the Jewish people. I was here in Israel recently to attend the 4th International Conference of the Global Forum for Combating Antisemitism. More than 550 delegates from 50 different countries and 6 religions convened to discuss ways of combating antisemitism. They participated in 10 different working groups, which discussed viable models for facing the global challenge of anti-Semitism, with the goal of formulating a practical action plan. One of the highlights of the conference was hearing from Mayim Chaya Bialik, an American actress, author, and neuroscientist. From 1991 to 1995, she played the title character of the NBC sitcom Blossom. She later played neurobiologist Amy Farrah Fowler on the CBS sitcom The Big Bang Theory from 2010 to 2019. In real life, she has a PhD in neuroscience and has been nominated 4 times for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress and won the Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. Her experience with anti-Semitism in today's world was sad and shocking.
Guests, dignitaries, members of this global forum on anti-Semitism, I am very, very honored to be here. I am thrilled to be in what I call Eretz Yisrael, which I'm told I should call it Medinat Yisrael when I'm here. And I'm overwhelmed with the opportunity to speak tonight in front of so many people with such knowledge and influence and power. I feel very unworthy, and I'm just very, very grateful to be here, so thank you very much. Although it's not what I was asked to do or to be for you tonight, I feel that somehow I'm representing all Jewish celebrities by standing here. I most certainly do not represent all Jewish celebrities, nor do I represent all Jewish Americans or all Zionists in America. But what I hope to do here in my time tonight is to talk about my relationship to anti-Semitism as a Jewish celebrity, as an American Jewish celebrity, and yes, as a Zionist American Jewish celebrity. I'm choosing to speak about the anti-Semitism that I have experienced, although I could ignore it. We all could ignore it, but we do need to confront this. Why? Because it illustrates that everyone who is attending this global forum already knows anti-Semitism is not simply the confront it does not only make Jews or Zionists or Israel safe, we have the capacity to make the world safer as we better understand and confront the roots and the dissemination of anti-Semitism. What I decided to do is share a few examples of the anti-Semitism that I have experienced in my interactions with the public through social media. And I share this with the following caveat. Thank God I have not experienced the kind of anti-Semitism many Jews experience in their lives. I cannot even begin to fathom what my family experienced in Poland, in Hungary, and Ukraine as anti-Semitism tore through those regions during and before World War II. Nor can I imagine a time when people were asked where their horns were, or were called dirty Jew, as my father was growing up in the 1950s and 60s in New York. So to give you some context, I'm gonna list some numbers that describe sort of who I am in the public world. And I really hate listing these kinds of numbers because in the scope of the universe and in the scope of what I believe my purpose on this planet is, as an extension of what I believe is a divine mission to repair the world, these numbers about me are nothing. They really mean nothing. But what they do provide is some context. So I currently reach almost 2 million people through Facebook. I reach 2.6 million on Instagram. Actually, at the time that I wrote this speech, it was 2.5, but I updated it today. I reach over 600,000 on Twitter and my YouTube channel. So what I do have, which is unique, is a platform for not only being a celebrity person, which I understand people are interested in, but I have a platform for my writing and for my thoughts through YouTube, through my website, groknation.com, and through the social media platform which most favors conversation and engagement, Facebook. So I'm gonna go through kind of 5 categories, which I have a sense of humor about some of these things, which is not to undermine the significance of them, but when these things are said about you and to you, I think you have to find a way to find kind of some humor at the absurdity. So it's okay to laugh. As my grandmother said, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Okay, maybe only American Jewish grandmothers say that. All right, the things I hear about myself fall into 5 categories. The first, and there are also lots of nice things people say about me, but for the purposes of our evening, category 1, Jew haters and general hatred. Examples, and these are literally lifted from the pages of Facebook, etc. I am sorry that you are Jewish. Mind your words, you bastard kike, big-nosed bastard mongrel Jew. You bow to a false god. Jews never had a homeland. That's what made them so obsessive over the years. I'm disliking this page and I'm not Muslim. Interesting. May you suffer the horror you bring upon the Palestinians. So that's category 1. That's Jew haters and general hatred. Category 2. Category 2 is Israel haters. It is Israel who is committing genocide with the assistance of taxpayers' money from the US, making every citizen of the US that pays taxes an accessory to murder. We give way too much money to this sick country. You should be ashamed of yourself for supporting Israel. Your soul has been bought and sold by evil. Stop Israel with 3 exclamation points. Mayim, your public support of Israel will probably, this one is funny, hold on. Mayim, your public support of Israel will probably win you your next Emmy, but not a soul. I have yet to win an Emmy, so, you know, come on, Israel. Death to Israel, sorry. Death to Israel, I swear you'll pay a heavy price. The resistance of Al-Qassam is ready for you. Category 3, so getting a little bit more specific, not just Israel haters, but Zionist haters. The Zionists are evil and controlled and owned by the Rothschilds. It's one I haven't heard in a while. This one is interesting. Being a Jew is okay, but not being a Zionist. Turns out that this was someone trying to alert the presses. Turns out that Mayim Bialik, who plays Amy Farrah Fowler in The Big Bang Theory, is a Zionist. She falls into the stupid and idiot category despite the fact that she has a PhD in neuroscience. She has the blood of those women, children, and other Gazans murdered by the IDF on her hands. Ugh, is it true? You donated money to the Zionist scumbags that are committing genocide. If that's the case, you have certainly lost many fans. We don't support genocide. So that was category 3, Zionist haters. Category 4 is people calling for boycotts of me or the Big Bang Theory. So this one is in all caps, but I can't shout because I'm fighting a throat infection, but it's in all caps, so picture someone shouting. The Big Bang Theory just lost so much appeal simply because of your presence in it. It's kind of funny, like that's terrible and sort of funny. The Big Bang Theory is one of my favorite series, but not anymore, and I'm going to boycott it. I will never support a series which has actors like Mayim Bialik who support and assist child killers. Goodbye, The Big Bang Theory. Since Mayim Bialik wants to side with an organization that is committing war crimes, making friends with a Hitler-like mentality, boycott anything to do with her. Make that commitment and boycott The Big Bang Theory. And the 5th category, because it's Nazi references. This is hard, like these are hard. Adolf Hitler coming anytime soon. You traumatized us enough with Blossom, which is funny, that's funny. Now you're showing how inhumane and ignorant you are. By condoning this genocide, you are condoning the Nazi Holocaust as well. Shame on you. Although there are indeed far worse things to have said about you, and there are far worse things in this world than being a public person, these types of comments, which I receive in the hundreds, have taught me a few things. And also, I'm going to go off script for a second. Sometimes these things have been in relation to direct comments that I have made about Israel. I did donate money for vests in the last war. But sometimes these comments come simply from a statement of fact, such as, I have been to Israel, or I have family in Israel, or acknowledging that Israel exists. So before I go into sort of the aspects of anti-Semitism that I've sort of gleaned from these 5 categories, I think it's really important, and this is what I say when I'm asked by the press. There are certain people for whom simply being Jewish or supporting the right of the state of Israel to exist is enough for them to elicit this kind of hatred, and that's not acceptable, in my opinion. So the first thing that I've learned is that anti-Semitism has changed, obviously. The notion that matzah is made with the blood of Christian children seems mostly an obsolete accusation. That kind of anti-Semitism is absent from most of our lives and from my life as an American Jew living in Los Angeles. However, my interactions are with a much larger audience than my parents' generation or my grandparents' generation because of my public position, but also because of the nature of interaction and communication today. So the internet and the transmission of information, including false information and hatred, has made the politics and the business of anti-Semitism a more global and less centralized locale. So it's not something that might happen when you go to the market to buy a loaf of bread, but it's something that you can find kind of everywhere all of the time. In this new world that we're living in, and for me as a public person who lives in the public sphere, where the internet is the method of a lot of communication in my life, anti-Semitism now has a deep and significant reach in ways that it really never did, and I'm being touched by it in ways that I never was before. The second thing that my time in the public eye has demonstrated for me about anti-Semitism is how much Israel has become a dominant feature of the hatred of Jews. I would not and will not distance myself from my statements, from my support for the state of Israel, and my belief that Israel has a right to exist in safety. But the role that anti-Semites have painted of Israel as antithetical to liberal politics is something I never imagined that I would see to this extent in my lifetime. Otherwise, intelligent, educated individuals I know who know little about Israel are very quick to hurl anti-Semitic insults, accusations, and assumptions at anyone who believes in the right of Israel to exist in certain cases. Being a lover of Israel, being a Jew in many cases, is enough to earn anti-Semitism, it seems. My third observation is that, indeed, so many people, and especially young people around the world, but also in the United States, do not know what Zionism is, like even the definition. And I know this may not surprise many of you who work in the spheres of people's understandings and misunderstandings, but for me, as a second-generation American raised speaking Yiddish, it came as somewhat of a surprise that most people that I met, for example, in the public university that I went to UCLA, did not know the difference between anti-Zionism and racism. They did not see through the propaganda that was plastered all over my university, declaring that Israelis are Nazis, or at that time that Ariel Sharon was equivalent to Hitler. The lack of understanding of the definition of Zionism, especially among young people, especially in liberal circles, astounds me, and it upsets, it's disturbing. And the lack of understanding about the distinct role that Israel holds for Jews and for non-Jews also astounds me. In addition, the swiftness with which so many other minority populations will side with any group against Jews and Zionists really devastated me as a young college student. I do hope that my comments have provided even a small window into the experience that many Jews have in the public eye. And if we were doing a Q&A, which I know we're not doing tonight, I know the question would be, where are the other Jews? And the fact is, I can't speak for other Jews, I can't speak for other Jewish celebrities, but it's very, very complicated, and a lot of people don't want to deal with the kind of things that I deal with, and I can't judge that. The decision that I make on a daily basis about what to talk about and what to share, what to feel, what to say about Israel, these things come with a heavy price. The price for me has not yet, that I know of, impacted my acting career, but it has impacted the way that I am seen. And that does impact my career in terms of speaking engagements, in terms of endorsements, in terms of my writing, in terms of the kind of things that Emmanuel has to deal with when explaining who I am and what I stand for and why. Because I am outspoken, and I have chosen to be outspoken about Israel. I wonder how many of the criticisms I get come from people unwilling or uninterested in me because of my stance simply on Zionism. God forbid it should be because I'm Jewish, but there are certain things I may never know. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be alive and be able to speak freely about my love for this country, which my grandparents prayed for as they fled Eastern Europe, and to hopefully educate people through my public platform about the truth about Zionism and Jews and the state of Israel. But as I have described it, and as we all know, the internet also holds a new capacity for hatred, for division, and for the spread of darkness. Is there a way to harness this incredible technology to make this a more peaceful, a more compassionate world? I hope that that will be the case. I also hope that the prayer that I wrote on a tiny slip of paper and inserted into the wall today will become true, that tomorrow I will wake up as Gal Gadot. I'm sorry. I'm a comedian, I couldn't help it. I remain devoted to my people, to this country, to my faith, and I hope to somehow use my position to combat, even in small ways, the ignorance and the hatred that continues to breed anti-Semitism, even if only one follower at a time. Thank you. God bless the Jewish people. God bless the state of Israel. Am Yisrael Chai.
I want to take you to Israel in pictures and film. I want you to see how God's sovereign hand can be seen before our eyes right here in this land. That's why PJTN is offering a special anniversary package that includes a captivating new book and award-winning DVD. Israel Rising is a unique visual story of Israel's miraculous journey from unforgiving desert to thriving nation. Thousands of years ago, the prophet Ezekiel foretold a future time in which the arid land of Israel would come alive for its people. Now this breathtaking book documents the fulfillment of this vision, as rarely seen photographs from the 1880s to the 1940s are juxtaposed with recent photos of the same locations. This book will inspire and captivate you as it illuminates Israel's foretold awakening in a new and unforgettable way. In addition, you'll receive the award-winning documentary, Israel Indivisible: The Case for the Ancient Homeland. This inspiring film examines the many political twists and turns that make Israel the world's most controversial nation. From Abraham and the Promise to the issues facing the Jewish state today, the film examines the historical, archaeological, legal, and biblical foundations for the modern state of Israel. This is a limited time offer for these two remarkable resources for just a one-time gift of $70 today. Your generous donation will help ensure that PJTN stays on the front lines and in the headlines of all the important issues facing Israel and our Jewish brethren. So please go to pjtn.org today. I had the opportunity to speak with and hear from a variety of experts, politicians, and religious leaders at the three-day conference. Here are some highlights from this all-important forum. These two gentlemen, I was busy talking to Rabbi Hollander, and I was telling him that I was surprised that there wasn't more Muslims here fighting anti-Semitism. And he says, oh no, I'll introduce you to my friends. And so when I met these two gentlemen, they told me that they were Muslim Zionists. I said, does this exist? This is a miracle. How did this happen? Why? Because, you know, within the evangelical Christian faith, there's a movement, as you probably are aware, of evangelical Christians who support Israel. They're Zionists. And I always wondered, if God is doing something new, then where is the Muslim community? Why isn't the Muslim community responding? And then I run into you two.
First of all, in the Quran, in the core message of Islam, forget about the hadiths that are the sayings of Prophet Muhammad, added up 2 centuries later after his death, which are fake and fabricated, for sure. The core message of Islam, that is the Quran itself, tells us about the right of the Jewish people to settle in the land that is promised to them. So that is Zionism, Mount Zion, under the name of Mount Zion. But there is a misunderstanding in the Islamic world. That is, as if Zionism means it is the evil of all, it's the root of all evil on earth. Jewish people are trying to change the world order according to their thoughts. No. Even Mr. Adnan Oktar, he goes live on TV and tells that if Zionism is the right of the Jewish people to settle in the Holy Land where their ancestors are buried, then it is the right already given in the Quran by God, Allah. So I am Zionist as well. And any Muslim is a Zionist.
And what I can add is the land of Israel, if the land of Israel is promised to the children of Israel, it is our duty and to make this happen. So because it's a promise of God, Allah, and in the Quran, so this is not something debatable. It's not something, some ideology that can be changed. It is the words of Allah. So as a pure Muslim, this should be the way to think about it.
Well, it's interesting that you're saying this, because I recently came upon a publication that was put out by the Sharif back in 1924, and then there was another edition printed in 1925, and he was basically saying the same thing that you're saying, that this is the land of the Jews, that God one day is going to bring them back to the land. And I was amazed by that, because I don't hear that discussed very often. And what you're communicating to me sounds like the same writing and teaching that the Sharif, the Waf, had published back then in the early 1900s. So it's fascinating.
The hatred and enmity against Jews and Christians in some of the parts of the Islamic world takes its roots from the nationalist movements not the Quran itself. Because if you go back to 100 years ago, there was no problem with Jews because there was no land of Israel as a state. So after these nationalism movements, these problems arose. I have to remind of the verse in the Quran. God says, "O children of Israel, dwell in the land, and when the time of the hereafter comes, I will gather all of you of different nations."
You are an evangelical Christian. I am a Muslim. A rabbi, our common friend, Yeshua Hollander, brought us together, and now there is a message that is going to be spread all over the millions. We have million viewers, you have million viewers. So the message, this is the basic of the old thought, this is how it should be.
This is definitely the last days. God said that he was going to bring all the nations back to worship him on his holy mountain. And the only way we're all going to come back to be able to worship him on his holy mountain if there is peace between us. So this is fabulous. We live in exciting times. Thank you both so much for joining us today. God bless you both. Well, that's our program for today. And I want you to know we appreciate your support. The time to take a stand is now. Be a leader in your community and in your church. One person can make a difference. Get involved with and support pro-Israel organizations such as PJTN. Call your senators, congressmen. Let your elected leaders hear from you. Visit our website to learn more. Sign up to receive free action alerts and order our films to share with family and friends. Please encourage everyone you know to tune in and become informed. If you're interested in starting a local chapter of PJTN to combat anti-Semitism in your community, please contact us at info@pjtn.org. God bless you, and thank you for all you do on behalf of our Jewish brethren and all Israel. We'll see you next time on Focus on Israel.
To support this program, send your tax-deductible gift to Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, P.O. Box 682711, Franklin, Tennessee 37068. You can also support PJTN online. Visit pjtn.org or call 1-877-873-9020.
Anti-Semitism has reached epic proportions, and Israel is now surrounded by nations who seek its destruction. For Israel to lose just one battle would mean losing everything. As Christians, it is our biblical responsibility to stand with our Jewish brethren and Israel. PJTN needs your help to reach more Christians with this urgent message. Please visit our website to become a member today and order our award-winning documentaries. You must decide that you won't be silent. Sign up now at pjtn.org. God bless you, and thank you for your support and prayers. Thank you again for joining me on this edition of Proclaiming Justice. Please share this podcast with your family and friends. For more information about how you can get involved, please visit our website at pjtn.org. As a PJTN Watchman, you can help us keep up the fight to preserve our freedom for our children and their children for such a time as this.